Hi everybody, welcome to the Knitty Witch podcast episode 8. It has been a long time. I am Vanessa Knitty Witch on Instagram and Ravelry. You can find me on Etsy as Knitty Witch Shop or go to knittywitch.com and that will take you straight to my Etsy store. You can also email me at knittywitchshop@gmail.com or message me on Instagram or any of the fun messaging services. So I come to you from Dover, Delaware, where I live with my husband, Brandon, and our combined children and dog, Zeus. So what have I been up to this whole month that has gotten away from me? So January was a month full of things. I got married on January 6th to the love of my life, Brandon. And we had a small wedding that was in my friend's house. I had my best friend Tom officiate it, and I had just my best friends there, and Brandon's parents were there, and it was really, really nice. So that was a lot of fun, and I am now a married woman, so yay! I also managed to hurt my hand. I was taking a nap, as if you can injure yourself taking a nap. I did it. I was taking a nap on the couch and somehow I managed to like push my wrist like this way when I fell asleep, and it ended up straining a muscle or straining like some sort of tendon in this part of my hand, and it's just been painful to knit or crochet. It's getting a lot better, but I'm slowly easing back into it because it just hurts at times, so I'm trying not to overdo it. Also, I managed to get sick. I still have the sniffles. I did not get COVID. I am vaccinated, not that that matters because you could still get it, but I ended up getting just a common cold, and it kind of took me out for a little bit. So I am still here sniffling and coughing, but luckily it was nothing serious. So that's kind of why I fell off the planet for a month. It was just one thing after another. And I wanted to sit down and film a podcast. And every single time that I sat down to film a podcast, something came up. And I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow would come and something else would come up. So this whole entire month has just gotten away from me. It is now February 1st. And I think that's amazing. Like, where has the time gone? We are in 2022. This is my first video of 2022. And so with that being said, let's get into it. So I actually have a couple finished objects, which I didn't think was going to happen, but I managed to finish a couple things. So the first thing I finished was actually not supposed to be finished. This was actually, if you guys remember this was going to be a very big blanket that I was working on. Turns out, as I was working on it, I decided that I wanted to bind it off and make it a baby blanket for my niece that's coming. So here is the virus blanket by JONNA MARTINEZ. And this is being knit out of, or actually this is not being knit, it's being crocheted out of Lion Brand Yarn Mandala in the Gnome colorway. I absolutely love this. I love this color. I think it came out so pretty. I just can't stop showing it. It's so beautiful. So this will be a gift for my niece. It's funny because she's not born yet. She's still cooking, and her name will be Kaylin. And I know that they're doing the baby's room in, I think, what I believe is Winnie the Pooh or something similar. So I imagine that they're going to have like muted colors and soft colors. And then here I come with the rainbow baby blanket because Titi Nessa needs her babies covered in rainbows. So that is my first object of 2022, which is so exciting that I actually finished something. I am so happy about that. The next thing that well, you know, wait a minute. I'm out of practice, guys. It is taking me a little bit of time to get back into it, so I do apologize. So I said that this is Lion Brand Mandala, which it is, and it is actually a DK weight yarn. So I have been using a 4.5 millimeter hook I'm pretty sure 4.5 millimeters to create this. So that's what I used to create this. The pattern is a free pattern by JONNA MARTINEZ. She is on Instagram, and she is also on YouTube, and she has a free tutorial as well as a written pattern on how to do this. Super simple. If you can double crochet and single crochet and slip stitch, it's all you need to know. So that was that. My nose is running a little bit. The next thing that I finished is, some people can argue that it's not finished because the ends aren't woven in yet, but I beg to differ. So here is a baby blanket that I've been working on for about 5 years. I am like the biggest procrastinator ever. So this is a baby blanket, and this is just, oh my goodness, what is going on here? I'm gonna have to, maybe this way. Okay, so this is actually Grandma's favorite dishcloth pattern, just magnified into a blanket. Here's my ends. I used a Cascade yarn. I'm not sure which one because this is really, really old and I don't have the ball band anymore, but I used a Cascade acrylic baby blanket to make this, and it is just a small baby blanket. I started this baby blanket for my nephew Johnny, who is now 4 years old. And needless to say, he is not going to be able to fit into this tiny blanket anymore. So I will be gifting this blanket to my nephew Ronan, who it will be perfect for. He is only a couple months old, so perfect, and it will fit him. I did manage to make a mistake. I don't know how do you make a mistake on a garter stitch Grandma's favorite dishcloth pattern? I don't know, but somehow I managed to do it. So if you notice, there is this row of stockinette in there. You can't see it on the back side, but you can see it on the front side where there is this row of stockinette right there. I don't even know how that happened, but it did. It's okay. No one's gonna really notice, and I mean, I notice, but hopefully no one will notice. So baby blanket central, that one is finished, and I knit this with 10 point, okay, I don't even remember, like it could be 10.5 knitting needles or it could be 9s. I'm looking at the needles and I'm thinking those are 10.5, and I knitted on a 60-inch cable. So that is this baby blanket FO with my ends. All right, so those are the two objects that I finished. I wish I could say that I had more, but I don't. If you've been following along with Vlogmas, I was working on a few different projects that I thought that I would be able to get done. And alas, here we are a month later and I still haven't finished them. But that's okay, because knitting is about making you happy and getting, you know, you get to it when you get to it. So it is what it is. So let's get into my works in progress. So for works in progress, I have decided that I'm going to show you the projects that I am taking into 2022 with me. Anything else that I have been working on that is not in this pile is getting frogged. And that includes, I think it was Fading Point by Joji Locatelli was something I'm working on. I am going to end up frogging that project because I just don't like my yarn choices. It's a beautiful pattern by Joji. She created it to make this beautiful fade, and the colors that I chose to fade are just not really fading well. with each other. They're not playing well with each other. So it's going to get frogged. So speaking of projects being frogged, let me show you a project that I am going to frog with you guys. So if you've been following along on Vlogmas, which was forever ago, it seems like, you would have seen this project living in my Lila Styles 80s cartoon bag. And this is the shawl pattern. It's a simple, easy triangle shawl. And it's absolutely gorgeous. However, here's the problem. You see that right there. So it's supposed to be triangular, but it's kind of more like diamond shaped. Whereas if I hold, if I hold it out like this, hold the points, the top of it kind of flaps down, and it's got, it's got like, it goes like this on an angle. It doesn't actually go flat across, if I'm making any sense here. I'm debating if I want to just give this to my daughter, but in order to do that, I would have to make it bigger, and this project is not bringing me joy. So I think that it's getting frogged. I love this yarn. This is a Hobby Lobby cotton yarn. So I think that I'm going to frog this, and I'm going to make some dish towels with it. Wow, it is really dusty in here. Look at that. It's like snowing in my living room. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to be frogging this and probably making some crocheted dish towels with this cotton yarn. So this is a project that is not making it to 2022, and as much as I enjoyed working on it and the pattern is easy, I'm just not enjoying the shape of it. And to be fair, I don't like triangle shawls at all. I'm not a triangle shawl person. I like semicirculars or pie shawls, circulars, any of those crescent shapes I love, but triangle shawls are just not my jam. So this is getting frogged. So that is the end of that. Now, for what I'm actually working on, an FO, look at the sun coming through. An FO that I have, not an FO, I'm sorry, a whip that I have been working on since last year is the Wild Oleander hooded scarf by Wickedly Handmade. So this is where I'm at so far, and it goes like this, and then it has a hood. This comes up really far, and it comes up to be a hood, and this is one of my favorite patterns. It is easy to make. She has an excellent tutorial in her pattern. It is a written pattern, but it has lots of pictures that make it so easy to understand. And it's just, it's great. It's a great accessory. I'm definitely going to finish this. And I am making this out of Universal Yarns, Classic Shades Metallic. And let's see if it has a colorway, in the Heyday colorway. And I am using a size J hook. So a J, I believe, is 6 millimeters. I wouldn't quote me on that, but I believe J is 6 millimeters. So that is that. And so this is a project that has been lingering throughout 2021, but I will be finishing this one. So this is coming into the new year with me. All right. So another thing that I am working on is my sweater. This is going to be probably a little bit of a long episode. Sorry, guys. I've got a lot to show you. I've been gone a while, and it is what it is. I'll get through everything. So my sweater is living in my Black Pearl Magic vinyl bag. This is like my favorite bag. It is so beautiful and it holds so much. So this is the Bay Heaven cardigan by Kimberly McAlinden. I have knit this before and I knit it in blue. It's on my first podcast episode, I believe I was wearing it. And what I love about this pattern is that it's mainly stockinette. So it's the perfect pattern for a variegated or speckled yarn because the stockinette just really plays well with that kind of yarn and just showcases the dye job beautifully. So this is where I'm at with my sweater. I have completed one of the front panels. I am working on the back panel. And then I have one more side to do. And of course, the rest of it, the sleeves, the collar, not the collar, but the top of it and all that. So I got a little bit to go, but I'm making great progress. And I am knitting this out of Into the Whirled Saratoga Sport in the As One Does colorway. It is a beautiful yarn. It's just so pretty and such a joy to work with. I am using size 5 Chagu needles in 40-inch cable, and these are fixed circulars, not interchangeable. If you're going to make this sweater, the one thing that I could suggest doing is checking out my Ravelry page. I have notes there on size small. I can't speak for the rest of the pattern because I didn't knit the rest of the pattern, but there were a couple of mistakes in size small. And by mistakes, I mean like minor, like typo type mistakes it was easy for me to figure out what was going on. So it wasn't like detrimental to my progress or anything, but check my notes. And if you're knitting the size small, then it should be really helpful for you. So yeah, I am making great progress on that. I love knitting this pattern. It is one of my favorite patterns, and it's just a beautiful sweater, and I can't wait to be done with it. So that is that. Another whip of mine is my advent calendar socks. So I have a hoe. So here is one sock. Let me bring this back. So here is the first sock. I have not woven in the ends yet. I still got my clippies on there. And I am on the second sock and I need to put a heel in here. So they are almost done. There is no reason why these aren't done already. The only person I can blame is myself for procrastinating because all it needs is a heel, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So here we are with the advent calendar socks. So these are Rainbows and Sprinkles. This was the 2021 advent skein. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love these. I loved the box. I loved all the little goodies and accessories that came with it. It was amazing. Like 100% would buy again. So I used a coordinating skein that came in the box that she provided. She provided 2 skeins, a gray one and a pink one, and I chose the pink one. Sorry, guys, the sun is just brutal today. It's so funny because a lot of the times that I wanted to podcast before, it was too dark because snow and rain and all that. And now I'm like, it's a beautiful day. Let me podcast today. Now the sun is shining in my face. But, you know, c'est la vie. So those are the Rainbows and Sprinkles 2021 Advent Calendar socks. And I am knitting these on size 9 Chagu circular needles in size 0. And they are living in my little basket. I picked this basket up at the Yarn Maven a couple years ago, which is my local yarn store. And it is just so cute. So those will get finished actually probably in the next couple days because February 1st starts the Knitty Natty and Moonglow Yarn Co. Colorwork Stock Make Along starts today, February 1st. Pattern was released, and I will be showing you more about that later. And because that is coming up, I need to get these off the needles so that I can have my needles back and knit my socks. So these will be done in the next couple days. Another thing that I've been working on is the scarf that I started as a gift for my friend Justine over Vlogmas. So here is where I'm at so far. So I am making this out of Cascade Eco Duo. Oh, it's confetti. It has such a beautiful like gradient tonal shift to it, if you can kind of see the different tones there. It's a very, very soft yarn. So why I haven't finished it yet is because I was pulling from my center pull cake and I pulled out yarn barf. And the thing about the yarn barf is this yarn is, if you can see, it's got a very fluffy halo. And that halo knots into itself. And at the center of this concoction over here is a knot that I don't think I'm going to be able to get out. So I think I'm going to have to cut it out, and I'm going to lose yarn, which is so disappointing, but I don't know what else to do because I really need to finish this, and it's not going to get finished sitting in a bag. So yeah, I will have to either buckle down and try to unknot it, which I have tried. Brandon has tried. He kind of gave up a little bit. My solution is just to cut it out and be done with it. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And I have another skein of this on my shelf. So if I need to break into another skein, it won't be like that big of an issue. I do have more. So this is living in my Heyday & Co. Pampa bucket bag in magenta. I absolutely love Heydays bags, and this is one of my favorite project bags. And I am knitting it on size 9 needles. I'm using Knit Picks interchangeables because for some reason, of all the interchangeable sets I've ever used, my Knit Picks interchangeable set is the only one that has never come undone on me. So I'm using my handy dandy Knit Picks needles for that. I have so much. All right, moving along. So the next thing that I have been working on over the break is my Cozy Memories blanket. I actually made decent progress on this over Vlogmas. I'm pretty proud of myself. So I'm in the middle of a square right now because why not? Can't even finish a square. But I managed, okay, let me hold this up properly. I managed to get on this blanket an entire row and then some. So I knit this whole entire row and this whole entire row. So I made so much progress on this blanket over Advent. Look at that. And it is coming out so nice. And here is my Christmas square for this year. So how I keep track of how many years I've been knitting on this blanket is every Christmas when I pick it up during Advent season, which seems to be when I pick up my blankets mostly. I put in a Christmas square. So this was this year's Christmas square. So I now have 5 squares and I have been making this for 5 years. But you know what? It's one of those projects that I am not trying to get done in any amount of time. I'm just enjoying working on it when I work on it. And it's there for me when I need comfort, and I'm fine with that. For this one, it's about the process. It's not about the product for me. So I'm having a lot of fun working on this blanket. I would like to dedicate more time to working on this. It seems like every Sunday, Scrappy Sunday comes up and I don't feel like working on my scrappy projects. I always feel like working on them like during the week. I don't know. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to knit a square before I start working on my whips and get a square out of the way for the day. It hasn't been working out too well, but it's a good goal to have. So I am trying to pick it up in the morning, knit a block on it, and then go about working on the rest of my whips for the day. So we'll see how that goes. I would say that the reason why I am not more productive on this blanket is because I have to wind the mini skeins by hand. Had I not had to do that, then I'd probably make a lot more progress. And I also was a subscriber to Row 1 minis. However, I had to cancel because I have so many minis with the advent calendars and just accumulating like clubs and stuff that if I keep up with the Row 1, I'm just gonna I have way too many minis. So I'm trying to get through the minis that I have so I can resubscribe to Row 1 because I absolutely love that subscription service. So that is my Cozy Memories scrappy blanket. And the last project I have been working on is a blanket for my nephew Johnny. So I mentioned that I started that blue blanket for my nephew when he was, maybe I didn't mention this, but I started the blue blanket that I finished for my nephew Johnny when he was a baby. He is now 4. So because I am gifting his blanket away, I started another one for him. So I am knitting this out of Bernat baby blanket, or Bernat, I'm not sure how you say it. It is so soft. It is living in my Fates thread witchy bag, who I adore her bags. She is one of my favorite bag designers. And this is just a single crochet. So it is just single crochet back and forth. I'm using a 10mm hook, and it's a nice dense fabric to keep him warm, and it's fluffy, and with the yarn it's coming out chunky, and it's just going to be perfect, and he's going to love it. It's going to keep him warm in his bed. And here's the hook that I'm using. This is a 10mm from Purl's. This is the white, and I love it because the Purl's crochet hooks are my favorite crochet hooks. Unfortunately, they're a little bit expensive. It always seems that every time I really like something, it just happens to be really expensive. Maybe not really expensive. Expensive is a relative term. I know that expensive is something different to everyone. But for $35 of your hard-earned cash, you too can have a Purl's crochet hook that is absolutely awesome. I love them. They're weighted. So if you can see it balancing. Look at that. My shaking hands. They're balanced. It's got a weight in it. And it just really, I don't know, it's the best crochet hook that I've ever used. The head on it is not too sharp. So when I'm crocheting, I'm not like hitting my hand and it's not sharp. And it grabs when you are hooking. When you're on the corner hooking, it'll grab real good. Just kidding. But it really does grab the yarn, and it does make it easy for you to crochet without the yarn slipping off the head of the hook, which happens to me with some crochet hooks. So Purl's Crochet, I've spoken about them before, but they are awesome, and I really, really love collecting their hooks. I collect them one at a time. I find that because they're expensive, it's easiest for me to do that. Whenever I need a certain size, I go ahead and I buy that one size, and that's how I've been growing my collection. So that is it for works in progress and FOs. I have been shopping for a month, so I have quite a few acquisitions to show you. If that is not your thing, then feel free to tune out, but if you like to see what I acquired, then let's get into that. So the first thing that I have for you that I bought was from Loop in Center City, Philadelphia. And it's a beautiful yarn store. I absolutely love Loop. And they had this series of bags from Dana Herbert. So look at how beautiful this project bag is. And on the inside, it has like a vinyl. It's plastic on the inside, which is so cool. So it won't, like, your needles won't poke through. So I am in love with this bag. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to be doing my sock along for Knitty Natty, and I'm going to be using this bag for that. So that is Dana Herbert. I've never heard of this maker before, but I'm in love with this fabric. The next thing I bought is from the Yarn Maven, which is my local yarn store. And during Christmas, she had Christmas colors of the West Yorkshire spinners. I gotta hold it back here because of the light. But here is the West Yorkshire spinners, and this is the Holly Berry colorway. So I'm saving this for next year. I did not knit a pair of traditional Christmas socks this year because I did the Advent calendar socks, which were rainbow. But I'm going to be saving this for next year. So this is a Christmas skein. Excuse me. Sorry, this cold is kicking my butt. So I'll be saving this for next year. Another thing that I picked up at the Yarn Maven is these beautiful skeins of Dream in Color yarn. This is COSETTE DK weight, 70% superwash merino wool, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon in the colorway Mermaid shoes. Look at how gorgeous this colorway is. I don't even know what this is going to be yet. I grabbed as much as I could from what she had left over. She had 4 skeins. So I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with it yet. That is, each skein is 270 yards, so like, I don't know, but it is so beautiful and I can't wait to make something with that. I absolutely love Dream in Color. Dream in Color is one of my favorite yarns. They just have beautiful colors, and Mermaid Shoes is one of them. Another Yarn Maven purchase was for Valentine's Day, and this is West Yorkshire Spinners in the, let's see what colorway this is. It's covering, her tag is covering the label, so I can't see what color it is, but it is beautiful pink striping. And I also got this pom-pom, and they go together so beautifully, but because these are going to be socks and not a hat because it's stripes, I could make a striping hat, but I don't want a striped hat. I'll be saving this pom for something else. So here is this beautiful pink and white pom. And there is the color. All right, moving right along. I was so fortunate to be gifted yarn for a project. I sound like I ate a frog. Excuse me. I'm so sorry for anyone that was listening to that in headphones. I really hope I didn't blow your eardrum. I am so sorry. Another thing I picked up that I was gifted. I'm sorry. I just completely lost my train of thought. So I was lucky enough to be gifted this beautiful yarn by a dear friend of mine. And this is Yarn Cafe Creations Sport Weight, MOCHA Sport, in the Ballerina colorway. It is a beautiful, there we go. It is a beautiful muted baby pink with like different shades of darker pink in it. If I bring it up closer, I think the light's gonna blow it out, but you can kind of see there. It is so, so pretty. And so this will be made into a WOES pullover cardigan by Dragon Horde Yarns when it grows up. So that will be my first pullover sweater project. Now, because it's a pullover and not a cardigan, I could not get away with not swatching, because if a cardigan, with me, if a cardigan blocks too big or swatches, or I'm sorry, not swatches, but knits up bigger than I intended it to, or blocks bigger than I intended it to, I could still wear it because it's a cardigan. Not so much with a pullover. With a pullover, it needs to be right. So I will be swatching, which is something that I normally don't do. But I'm so excited to start this project, and I'm so grateful that I was gifted this yarn. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to get this started. And it just keeps coming. So another set of yarn that I was gifted was this beautiful sock set from Dragon Horde Yarn. So Tristan sent this to me to be made into wedding socks for my husband. And I love that. And I am so excited that first of all, this yarn is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I can't even get over how pretty it is. And Brandon loves it. It's his colors. It's muted colors. You know, I can't get Brandon in rainbows, even though I've tried. And I can't wait to make him a pair of socks out of this. So thank you so much. I am so excited about this. And I cannot wait to get these cast on for him. One of my Etsy acquisitions, Etsy got me. I was shopping all of the updates, like when people update their shop and it shows you all of your favorite shops and like what they've added to their store. They got me. So Yarn Love had this beautiful, beautiful sock set. It is called Galadriel. Oh, it's zebra sock yarn and Galadriel sock yarn. And I'm not seeing that it has a colorway name. It just says zebra sock yarn and Galadriel sock for the side. So it is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to make these into a pair of socks. Look at how freaking cool that's going to be. So that is Yarn Love on Etsy. I talked about how starting today, Knitty Natty and Moonglow Yarn Co. have a collaboration for Colorwork socks. Here is the sock set. Can we say gorgeous? This is her Valentine's Day collection, and this is the Sweetheart sock set that is going to be used for the Colorwork socks. I am so excited about this, and as you can tell, these are my colors. And I love these colors so much that I contacted Whitney of Moonglow Yarn Co. and asked her if she would make me, get this, a Slipstravaganza kit. So yeah, I will be making another Slipstravaganza in these colors. And I cannot wait to start it because I love my Rainbow Slipstravaganza. It is one of my favorite things that I've ever made, and I cannot wait to make a pastel version of it. Look at, like, It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I can't wait to cast on these socks, and I cannot wait for that Slipstravaganza kit to come in, which I will show you when it does. So yesterday I made a trip up to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania with a friend of mine, and we went to the knitting place. I have never been there, and I can't believe I've never been there because they're only 2 hours away, which I say only, but I've driven further. I've been to Do You Knit in Jersey, and that's over 2 hours away. That's like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I've driven that. So I can't believe I've never been to the knitting place, but we stopped there yesterday and I found beautiful yarn. They had an amazing collection of Mad Tosh, Malabrigo, like you name it, they had it. It was so nice. So here is some yarn I picked up from Emma's Yarn. Look at how, my only regret is that they didn't have more skeins of these because I would have totally made a crazy sweater out of this. But it is so pretty. Look at these colors. They're like, the light is getting me. They are so beautiful. I cannot wait to make something out of these. So I have in mind a shawl. I don't know what yet, but I did buy 2 skeins. So I have roughly like 800 yards to do something good with. So that's pretty good. I think I can make a beautiful shawl at 800 yards. So that's what that will be. And then the last thing I picked up from the knitting place is Blue Heron Yarns Rainbow Metallic. I have actually been fortunate enough to meet the owner and dyer behind Blue Heron Yarns, who is a very sweet person. So here is, this is the pink Purl colorway. And look at how beautiful. It's like, as you can tell, I have an affinity for baby pink and rainbows, but just absolutely gorgeous. And it has the sparkles in it from the metallic. And I bought 2 of them. These are 550 yards each. And I have been looking at different patterns. I haven't chosen one yet, but I cannot wait to make a shawl out of this because I think it's going to drape beautifully. I think it's going to look beautiful with the metallic in it. It's going to be great. So those are all my Yarny acquisitions. I have one more thing to show you. So I find it absolutely, I don't know the word. I find it just so wonderful that I have inspired so many of you to pick up and start your tarot journey. So if you're doing that with me, and I have received messages and emails about people getting their decks and starting. So what came out this month or last month was the Yarn Tarot. So here is the Yarn Tarot. This was endorsed by Vogue Knitting, and I was thoroughly impressed with this deck when it came out. I was expecting, especially for the price, because it's a low price, I was expecting to get a box of cards and nothing else. Just a plain box of flimsy cards is what I was expecting. And man, was I surprised when I picked up this beautiful box, complete with a hardcover book and the deck. So here is the instruction guide, and on it is a beautiful black woman holding 2 crochet hooks. She's absolutely gorgeous. And I love that this deck is so, I want to say welcoming. Welcoming is not the word. It is so inviting. It is so inclusive. There is different colored people in here of all different races. There is different suits. So the suits are pretty cool because you have swords, but the swords are knitting needles. You have wands, but the wands are Tunisian crochet hooks or crochet hooks. You have, let's see, cups, but the cups are spindles. And then you have pentacles, and the pentacles are woven. So this deck is absolutely great. I love it, and I was just so floored. So that is my last Yarny acquisition. I am loving this deck. I think that the book is really well written. And you can find that on Amazon. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. If the Yarn Tarot is something that you find yourself interested in, it is very easily to get. And it's a great deck. So I was impressed. So that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for sitting with me as I sit here and fumble with my words and get back into the groove and learn, like relearn how to podcast again, because it's been so long. I had so much fun sitting with you chatting, and I really hope to see everyone next time. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking, for watching, for messaging me, for being a part of my life. And before I let you go, I wanted to say something, and I'm looking at my shirt and I'm laughing because I didn't plan this, but here are the moon phases on my shirt. And just like the many phases of the moon, you don't have to be whole in order to shine. You're important, you matter, you're beautiful. Thank you guys. I will see you all next time. Have an amazing couple weeks. Bye.